Hi, my name is Dave Reski, CEO of Now Speed Marketing, and welcome to this edition of Marketing in the Now, where we talk about the best ideas in digital marketing. And my guest today is Chris Eustace, CEO of SparkGrid Software. Chris is an expert in Salesforce, HubSpot systems, and his company has developed solutions to help salespeople be more productive. Chris, welcome to the show.
Thanks, David. Appreciate you having me.
Sure. You've been working to help salespeople be more effective for 16 or more years.
Yeah,
I just want to start by asking you, in general, what are some of the biggest issues you've seen affecting sales force productivity, and helping people be productive in that environment?
sure. Having at the end of the day, tools like a CRM are just tools, right? So while you can have tools, really, you need to have kind of management and upper level people will be driving the adoption of these tools to sort of help to increase productivity. Just having the tool is going to be as good as the process that is implemented there. So I would start first with the process and discovering, what target market you're going after and what are the tactics you're using there, and then kind of working with a professional, or if you have it in-house, developing those processes within your CRM to kind of take advantage of that.
Yeah, and that, as we think about the implementation of tools like CRM tools like Salesforce or HubSpot, thinking about sales as a process was really key to that. So, ensuring sales people's productivity through that has really been key. But I want to focus on a solution that you developed and get very specific about a solution you developed, integrating content management tool like Box with HubSpot.
Right.
And just tell me about the tool itself and how it helps salespeople be more productive.
Sure. So I can kind of, if it's okay, take a step back and just kind of introduce what Box is for those that are not familiar. So Box, the way I like to present it is it's essentially Dropbox before the enterprise. So they have 63% of the Fortune 500 as logos as their company. So they're trusted by a lot of the large companies, but their pricing is not prohibitive in that other companies of smaller size can't take advantage of this. We noticed a gap in the space. Now they have Box has a Salesforce integration, which we've done quite a bit with over the years. So we knew the API, but noticed a gap in that there was no HubSpot integration. And HubSpot is a rapidly and quickly growing CRM. I would say it's probably the number 2 CRM on the market from my experiences. And their ability to innovate and continue to push the envelope, they're just rapidly rising. So I basically presented Box with an option. I said, hey, we'd love to write that integration for you. And they gave me the green light, and we essentially built the official integration for Box and HubSpot. There's many, I can hop into some features and functionality, but maybe we want to let you ask some questions. And we've been out for, about 4 months now, and are, rapidly growing our user base and really just kind of taking the sales approach and trying to get the word out as much as possible.
That's awesome. So, yeah, I do want to ask you about, the product itself, and I want to dig into some of the features to help people understand tangibly what it does. But take me through the problem that you're solving. So, why is it a big deal to integrate Box, and content with a product like HubSpot? What does it
Sure.
do for the salesperson?
So you're not only in sales, but the majority of your sales team and your customer service team are going to be in your CRM. So having a trusted source of where all your files are held. Yes, of course, you can attach you can attach documents to records in HubSpot natively. There are limitations on those, and a bigger deal is compliances. So if you're working for any sort of company that has any sort of compliance, whether it be HIPAA regulations or being able to share things externally or having security or you need to keep a document archived for 7 years, any sort of that stuff, Box has all of those bases covered. So what we've done is create a transparent interface within HubSpot to be able to be interacting with your Box data, sharing out files, creating e-signature requests, and building automation in the CRM platform to continue to make sure all of your content is driven all in the same spot in box.com and adhering to all the compliances that are necessary while pushing productivity by using, HubSpot workflows in which we baked in like more than 34 functions from the Box API. Does that answer your question pretty well?
Yeah, absolutely. We're definitely getting there. Let me go through a specific example just to help our listeners understand how salespeople can use it, recognizing that there are other, people that might be using it that are using
Sure.
CRM. But let's just talk about salespeople in particular. Let's say a salesperson is creating a proposal
Hmm.
and they're using HubSpot to update the records. And let's say all their files are in a file system like SharePoint. Like,
Yep.
they've got to manage proposals and documents and other things like that. How does it make life better for the salesperson, either productivity or compliance or other ways, if all the files are integrated between Box, get your files in Box, and they're integrated with HubSpot?
Sure. Yeah. So the first thing is we have a function in there called pinning records. And what that allows you to do is to pin specific box folders to records within HubSpot. So whether you be on a deal record or a contact or a company record, being able to just click into that record and automatically have a tab where all of the files are held with the proper permissions, and being able to perform all of the sophisticated functions that you want. Secondly, Box also offers unlimited digital signatures with part of their subscription. So being able to send whether they be NDAs, proposals, all those sort of documents out of your CRM. We've built our own tool to be able to merge data from the CRM into the Box sign tool, send it out and get it signed, and having all the saved documents stored within your repository in Box. Those are a couple of ways that, productivity can be increased. One other that I'll mention is a very simple workflow in terms of automation. So, for example, if you were to create a new deal record in HubSpot, with workflow, we can automatically go and create a folder under that account in Box with the proper security and permissions, and then pin it all automated. So as soon as anybody goes to collaborate on that deal, work on that deal record, they're going to click in the Box tab and they're going to see exactly the folder they should be in with all the documents that should be there so that you're never scrambling and emailing files around and things like that.
Wow, that's really good. We just got a new client this morning, and the first thing that happens is we email that signed statement of work to all the people in our company,
Yep,
and that document's kind of going all over the place. So if you have it all integrated, you're not doing that. You've got a workflow that's automatically set up that sends the link out to the official version of that document.
that's right.
So the integration is there. So it sounds like what you have the ability to do then is everybody's really working within the HubSpot environment, or the salespeople, the customer service people, and then the environment, rather than going from there over to the document repository, back, moving files, emailing files, and it can all be more consistent. So that feels like just a huge productivity advantage. In my experience, salespeople hate the admin, and they're not always that good at the complexity of managing all these files. So
Sure.
you're getting a lot more, consistent behaviors from all of them. So
One other thing to note is that yes, the majority of your salespeople, customer service people are going to be in your CRM. But Box being its own platform, like there could be people on the delivery side or fulfillment side or in a warehouse that need access to these documents to see, okay, what are the order slips? They don't necessarily need access to the CRM to do that because all the CRM is going to push that documentation into the proper Box folders in which we can kick off automations to go and alert the warehouse to say fulfill orders or something along those lines.
got it. So, if you've got attorneys, you've got product marketing, you've got um, other administrative people, your controller, all of those people are really working in the file system. And
Mhm.
then you're connecting those really to the CRM system. So people in customer service and sales are using that.
That's right.
Um, can you think of a customer service example? We kind of talked about a sales proposal example, but a customer service example where that feature could be really helpful.
Sure. Yeah. So, tickets or cases on, say somebody were to create a trouble ticket of some sort. Um, what we could do is when the ticket is, say that they're having an issue with, I don't know, an Outlook plugin with your designated piece of software. So the case comes in through your channel, whether it be on a phone call or through an email, and then being able to have, you can actually surface documentation that exists within your organization using artificial intelligence to comb through that, look at the results of the inquiry saying, hey, I'm having trouble connecting Outlook. The box within Box AI will actually go and search your knowledge base or search your documentation that you have sitting in there and send back recommended articles to the customer service representative to be able to be like, hey, here's a potential solution for you. And be able to have links right to those documents that they can then just forward right on. Or even having that automated entirely. And when they put that request in, it just sends them the email with the links to potential solutions.
Wow. Could it do the same thing for salespeople who are looking for case studies or examples or other documentation they could use in the sales process?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We would need to set up the proper context, right? So I know in HubSpot, all the emails are automatically recorded. So we would want to set up the proper context and make sure that we're not sending out, irrelevant materials. But yes, absolutely. You have essentially what Box has really been pushing is kind of like 90% of the data within your organization is unstructured, right? So yes, you could have the most squeaky clean CRM instance. And if you don't have the rest of your data is sitting in emails and documents and everything else. So what Box is able to do is use artificial intelligence to categorize, tag, and allow for quick searching and everything. It's the only way that it is ever going to get organized. Otherwise, you basically have piles of file cabinets, essentially digital file cabinets is the way to look at it.
Yeah, or maybe you're relying on the salesperson's memory to say, oh,
Yeah.
that's a good case study, or here's an example document, or
Yeah.
here's a client that might be a good fit. Yeah, if you can categorize and organize that to make it more useful and then integrate it with the CRM process so you see all those communications are tracked and they
Mhm.
can have it in one place. That's a major organizational and competitive advantage. Talk to me about the compliance side, because I always think about compliance in regulated industries, but I can imagine you'd really want compliance just from a sales execution. Like, are we sending the latest version of this PDF, or are
Mhm.
we
Mhm.
sending the best, the latest statement of work, or this links to examples or technical documents, right? So it feels like there's kind of a broad it's compliance, regulatory compliance, but there's also compliance, kind of corporate content compliance. How do you think about compliance, and how should people be thinking about compliance from a salesperson's perspective?
Yeah, I mean, so of course, within Box, you have the ability to do versions and things just like you would in something like SharePoint, where, we can have the official area that has all of our official white papers or something. And within those, we can have the versions and make sure the latest versions are stored, but then we can also go back in time and see that. In terms of compliance, I know Box just got a brand new certification, FedRAMP, but they basically have the whole kit and caboodle, the entire, you name it, and they have these certifications, whether they be export control, FINRA, GDPR, ISO 2701, SOX 123. You kind of name it and it's there. Now, in terms of, I don't know if this is answering your question or I'm kind of going offshoot. You
Hmm.
steer me here because I started going into a lot of the compliances.
Yeah. No, I think we talk about compliance, there's compliance like security compliance, right? So we got to make sure that these documents are secure and safe. There's also compliance in the version control that you mentioned, that we make sure that we're using the latest versions of all these things. And it feels like your solution by integrating HubSpot, with the salespeople in some organizations are like the loose variable and all that, right? So they
Right.
could be grabbing whatever documents and sending the wrong document to the client, which could be it could be a legal compliance issue. It could also just be we revved that product 3 years ago and you sent the
Right.
wrong, tech
Yeah.
sheet, right? Yeah. So, kind of keeping all of that, together is gotta be important. But
Yeah. I think.
integrating that into
uh,
the CRM is the way to do it, right? Rather than, hey, go out to SharePoint, find a case study, that you might like,
Right.
and send it to somebody, right? Yikes.
I think leveraging the automation is where that comes in. So I had mentioned before, automatically creating a folder, say when a record is created. But it's not just creating one folder. You can create structures of folders as things occur within your CRM. So as you're moving through the sales process, we could automatically go in and create additional folders that are pinned to that record within Box that then could alert another department that they need to, put the master services agreement in place, drop it in there, and then the salesperson would then be notified that came in, right? So being able to taking all these manual steps of having to chase down documentation and everything, streamlining them, kind of using workflow is sort of my idea of what would be helpful.
Do organizations need really a sales document specialist or an expert, in CRM systems and Box in order to implement a solution like this? Or can small organizations that don't have professionals, full-time people dedicated to that document management process, leverage this kind of technology?
Yeah, really, really anybody. We price the tool at an affordable rate where any size business can use this, and it is not a high level of complexity. Signing up for a Box account, signing up for the integration, it's all self-serve. We can obviously help you if you need that at all. You do not need to have subject matter experts within CRM or within, document management and compliance. Now, of course, we're not claiming to be like the premier solution for document compliance. We're not experts in that, but these platforms are, right? So they kind of bring that weight with them. So really, this could be leveraged anywhere from a small mom and pop 1 or 2 person company all the way to your biggest enterprises in the world.
That's awesome. Well, it sounds like this tool is going to help a lot of people be more productive, be more compliant, and be more effective. And you've done a great service to all HubSpot clients, and I hope the product's wildly successful. If you want to learn more about you or the product, what's the best way to contact you?
Sure. Yeah. Probably the easiest way is if you go on the HubSpot marketplace, you just search for Box Connector. You could also take a look at our website, sparkgridsoftware.com. Yeah, either way there, feel free to get in touch with us. We'd love to do a demo. You can install a free 7-day trial, fully featured. You don't even need to enter any information other than your name and email address and get it installed in your org today.
That's great. Well, Chris, thanks for taking the time to talk about the product, and I hope it's wildly successful for you.
Appreciate it. Thanks, David.